On Tuesday the 15th of April 2014, something quite special happened to me. It's something I've mentioned a bit before on social media, some of you might be aware of it, but I've never actually made a YouTube video about it before, so I thought 2 years on, I might as well tell you about the day I met the Doctor. Now, we'd gone down to Cardiff to visit the Doctor Experience, and visit some locations as well, and we'd got there on the Monday the 14th, and we'd arrived at the hotel, been out for some tea, and got back to the hotel, and I thought I might as well have a little look on the web and see if there's any Doctor Who filming going on while we were staying there. And I found lots of interesting stuff on the DWSR hashtag that seemed to point towards filming at Forest 4 on the Tuesday the 15th. Now, I do believe Robot of Sherwood had already started filming by this point. I'm sure I'd seen some pictures of Jenna and Peter and Tom Riley on the internet. And when I found out that they were going to be filming in this forest, not too far away from where we were staying in the centre of Cardiff, obviously I was quite excited. And I had scheduled a list of things I wanted to get done while I was in Cardiff, but unfortunately that had to go completely out of the window, because on Tuesday I made the executive decision that we would go and try and find the set of Doctor Who. So I went to bed quite excited that evening, and on the Tuesday morning we got up and had breakfast and got out quite quickly, and we drove about 20 minutes out of Cardiff. I can't remember what the place was called, but it's where Castlecock is and Forest 4, that kind of area. And we eventually reached this car park by the Three Bears Cave area. That's obviously the cave that's been used in Doctor Who and Torchwood lots of times before in Forest 4. I remember getting really excited when I got out of the car and saw this little card saying Doctor Who through the window of somebody's car, you know, one of the production crew. And I seem to recall there was a security guard waiting at the gate to the forest, to the pathway, because interestingly I think they were still actually allowing people to walk past, you know, dog walkers and people like that. But we managed to get through there, and we reached this catering van, and suddenly what I'd been dreaming and hoping for, it was actually starting to become reality, it's quite strange. And we worked out that indeed they were filming Robot of Sherwood in this location, and we met two very friendly location managers, and their names were Nick Clark and Andrew Davies. And they looked after us really, and they showed us where to go and where filming was, and they showed us where we couldn't go as well. So we made our way through into the kind of the main areas close as we could go, and there are a couple of other fans there, lots of big trucks full of equipment, and I don't know what was in them, but I think there was one with costumes in, or coat hangers and stuff like that. And there were a couple of other fans there at the time. As the day progressed, more fans arrived, but to start with it was just us and a couple of other people. There weren't too many, and to be honest, at first it was a little bit disappointing because you couldn't actually see where they were filming. All you could hear was the merry men laughing. If any of you are wondering, the scene that I actually saw, I didn't see it being filmed, but I was there when they were filming it. The very first scene set in Robin's hideout, where he takes the Doctor and Clara back to introduce them to the merry men. So yeah, I couldn't see the actors, I could just hear lots and lots of laughing from the merry men, and to be honest actually, not much happened straight away, because obviously they were quite busy filming, but it was still quite exciting, and a funny feeling to think that Peter Capaldi and Jenna Coleman, the crew of Doctor Who, were over there just meters away from you. It was a really weird feeling. But eventually some stuff did happen. I mean, occasionally we saw Jenna and Tom Riley, who played Robin Hood, we saw them go to the loo a couple of times and get their costumes done and stuff. I don't think Peter ever went to the loo, actually. That's a funny observation. But they would occasionally walk past us on the path and go to the loo, which was by the catering truck, I think. And another thing that was quite exciting, actually, was the arrival of Mark Gatiss. Obviously, he was the writer of this story, and he'd come to see it being filmed. And it was just a stroke of luck that he was there the day that we were there. So I did actually manage to get a photo with him and an autograph. And I think that was the first photo and autograph I got, actually. Because, like I say, the actors and the crew, they were quite busy at the time. But they did have the occasional break. For instance, at one point, Peter did come out quite early on. Unfortunately, we didn't actually get to meet him then, because lots of other fans had gathered by that point. Dare I say it, kind of fangirly, geeky, over-the-top people like that. No, but that was kind of annoying because we didn't get to see him then. But we did get to see Jenna, Now, unfortunately, I never got a photo with Jenna myself. She was perfectly nice, but Peter went out of his way more to meet the fans and get a photo with all of them and give them all autographs. But I do have some photos of my brother and sister with Jenna, and she was incredibly nice to them. She was really nice to my sister as well. She bent down to her level. It was nice to see her, but just a shame that I couldn't get a photo with her at that point. Now, the cast and crew working quite long hours, which, well, it's very good of them, but it was quite inconvenient for us. I think in total, actually, we ended up waiting about 6 or 7 hours on a forest pathway, waiting for Peter to come out, and there weren't many chairs and things to sit on, so it wasn't very comfortable, but I think I would say it was worth it. I think eventually, around the time when they broke for tea, was when we actually got to see Peter properly, and he was so lovely with the fans, really lovely with me, my brother and sister, and he gave us all autographs. It was great, and took the time to get photos with absolutely everybody. He was a really, really nice guy. I couldn't have wished for a nicer Doctor actor to meet, I think. It was just great. And obviously we hadn't seen much of the 12th Doctor on screen so far, so it was a really weird feeling, actually. And I suppose I took it for granted a bit at the time. Because obviously now, 2 years later, we've seen Series 8 and Series 9. We've seen loads of episodes with him being brilliant as the Doctor, but we'd only seen his regeneration scene at this point, so we weren't really sure what to make of him, but as a person, he was great. We did get a couple of photos of Tom Riley, but nothing with him, no autograph or anything like that. It was just a bit of a shame, but you can't have them all, I suppose. Now, like I say, Jenna was perfectly nice, but she just took a bit more time to get photos and autographs with fans, and at the end of the day, they were kind of running out of time a bit, but they're giving out these postcards of Clara from the Bells of St. John for people to get signed, I think, to kind of speed up the process a bit. But because Jenna was very busy, she took some of those away with her to go and sign in between takes, which was nice of her, I suppose. It's just a shame that I never got a photo with her. Now, it wasn't just Peter, Jenna and Tom that we saw, and Mark Gatiss. We also saw the Merry Men for the first time, and I've got a couple of funny photos of them on the set here. And quite a funny memory I have is of the person that was playing Friar Tuck. As a member of the clergy, I heard him saying F off to another of the actors in a jokey way. No, but I thought that was quite ironic and quite funny as well. And after many long hours of filming and us waiting as well, Peter and Jenna were escorted away in their cars, and that was that. And after that, life resumed as normal. We went to McDonald's to go and eat something because we were starving after waiting in the forest for so long. It was just such a surreal experience and something so unique as well. But I just wanted to emphasise that for me, this experience really was a one of a kind. It's something that had never happened before, and something that might never ever happen again. Because obviously I live quite away from Cardiff. I'd love to go back there one day, but it's quite far away. But one thing that was actually ironic was, at the time, we lived in Nottinghamshire. We've since moved up to Yorkshire. But at the time we lived in Nottinghamshire, and what was quite ironic was that we'd gone down to Cardiff to watch an episode about, Robin Hood, essentially recreating Sherwood Forest. I'd been a couple of times myself, and we went all the way down to Cardiff for that. So that was quite funny. But on a serious note, it was just such a great experience. I'm just really pleased that I was there on the same day as them. It was just such a stroke of luck, and that I was able to find out where they were filming. And I'll always treasure the autographs that I managed to get that day. Now, you might think it's a bit odd that I just handily had a sheet saying autographs with me at the time, but even though I never thought we'd actually go to filming or anything like that, I had these sheets prepared before we went to Cardiff, just in case we were to come across anybody famous. So that's the reasoning behind that. My parents persuaded me to get the autographs of the location managers first, and to be fair, they were really helpful and really kind. They made us drinks and things like that. And obviously there's Peter Capaldi's autograph, the highlight of my collection. And I've got Jenna's on the separate photo, like I said, the one from the Bells of St. John, which they were giving out, the little promotional postcards. And then on the back of the sheet, I've got Mark Gatiss. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope that me sharing my photos and experiences has it's given people that have never been to filming before, or people that can't go to filming, an insight into what it's like. I can't stress enough, it was just such an amazing experience. And being there on the set and speaking to Gatiss and Peter Capaldi, if I'm honest, that is what inspired me to do YouTube. I had been planning some figure adventure projects, but it wasn't really until this day that, I thought, right, I'm gonna do this properly, start a YouTube channel. So if any of you have ever wondered, this is what prompted me to make my YouTube channel. So that's another reason why it's such a special memory for me. So thanks for watching, hopefully I'll see you soon for another new video, and bye for now.